to move on to that final with Lionel Messi, if that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
This idea of sort of this movie of Lionel Messi's life be honest, was it enough? And there was a reporter who spoke with Lionel Messi and said, look, if you don't win it, it's okay. Like, we still love you. And we all, in the grey of these debates that you sort of talk about all the time, and I said this myself at the tournament, I said, for me, it will always be Lionel Messi, of course. But if you want to end the conversation, he has to win it. So do you think that it was enough to make the final? Would it have been enough? Or did he need to win it?
I'm biased because I can give you 100 reasons why he was already the best player in the world ever. I'll give you a basic one, and I need to update this, but I think in 35 finals, he scored like 30 goals. And I'm not even counting assists. So it's like in every final, at least once, he determines where the game goes. Nobody ever in the game has done that. No Maradona, no Pelé, nobody. But okay, it will take me longer to convince people that he's the best ever if he just played the final. Now it's like the debate is over, isn't it? This is not disrespect to Cristiano Ronaldo, but Cristiano was lucky to be considered the best ever, because that's where the conversation with Leo Messi is. So of course, if people think that he's as good, then you have to say Cristiano will be one of the best ever. He's not. He isn't. But he actually had the ability, which I'm not sure many other players in the history of the game would have been able to hold himself against Leo Messi for long enough to actually take few Ballon d'Ors out of him. And to actually create this false debate about who is the best ever. Well done, Cristiano. But he doesn't belong to that conversation. Leo is well above everything else. And as they are getting to the end, you can see it even more clear. I mean, I think I heard it from Jorge Valdano first, the former manager and director of football and of Real Madrid and Argentina World Cup winner himself. He said, look, now that the body's giving up on both, on Leo and on Cristiano, Leo is getting 20 meters away from goal because he sees the whole picture, because he will give more solutions to the team. And Cristiano is getting 20 meters closer to the goal. He wants to be the ones that finishes it. Right. Now, that has to do with their personality, has to do with their traits, as physical traits, and what they want to be in the game. Cristiano wants to be the one that finishes it. Others will do the work that doesn't come out in the headlines, that doesn't give you books, and that doesn't give you movies. But he'll be the one scoring the goal. For Leo, it's like, I'm going to be the one that actually will allow my team to win. And because he does it, he has done it, and he's doing it now. It's another clue of why he was better than Cristiano, if you want to just focus on that. But the fact that he's done it at the highest level for more often than anybody else in history gives him the title of the GOAT.
There's an incredible moment that's captured just before the final penalty, where he looks to the heavens and says, do you know what he says? He speaks about his grandma.
So the myth says.
Oh, is this so? Is this not true as well? You're doing a lot of myth busting here. So guys, from what I've seen, is this idea that said it could be today, Grandma. Is that not true? By the book. Whoa. Very good. And the link to the book, of course, is in the description of this podcast, by the way. Do you feel about... I was watching this interview with... who was it? It was Andre 3000, who is obviously a rapper, but hasn't rapped for a really long time. And they were talking about this idea, and I was trying to figure it out with my producer Kai, because I had this theory that subconsciously or in the ether, there was a sort of cosmic pressure that I felt, and that was the phrase that this interview used, this cosmic pressure that deep down the world and football owed, and again, it's very romantic, that's what I'm like, but football kind of owed Messi that World Cup. and that gentle urging, even though it's a sport and two guys, obviously France gave absolutely everything, or so they think. Do you subscribe to the divinity, the destiny of Lionel Messi with this World Cup win, and that possibility of that desire of the world to see him win it, that allowed it in any percentage to come true?
I wanted him to win it, yes, but it was done in such a Hollywood way, starting with a defeat, a game that was escaping from them in the final against the other big player of the tournament. I mean, it's got all the script twists that you want in it, but mostly it was done in the right way. That is the thing I really like about it. Not only that we all wanted him to win it. Yes. He not sure if it was his destiny or what, but it made a lot of sense for him to win it. But that he won it the right way, as a consequence of a team, as we described earlier, that where they all work for each other, where the leadership is clear, where the instructions are clear, where the corrections are right, where players that come on the bench make a difference, where the coach understands who is the biggest person there, where the captain, being Leo Messi, leads the right way as well, where there is a lot of work being done behind the scenes, from asados, for barbecues, to sports science. It was all done the right way. It wasn't an accident, and they did it by playing good football in a tournament that is difficult to do, because we know they don't have time to train, etc. And everybody is different, and all of a sudden 3 players come from nowhere and become very important. And so to put it all that together is very, very hard. But they did it, and they did it by everybody running very hard for Leo, for themselves. Stories like it was Julian Alvarez, who wrote a letter in Facebook when he was like a kid about when Leo Messi had said that he'd left the national side, and Julian saying in that letter, we cannot understand how you think, because we're not you. You are at a different level, but please, if you after a while feel that you have to come back, you'll be received with open arms, because you are so important to us. All of that, and then he goes and assists a goal for Alvarez to score, and they both hug, having win the World Cup. Unbelievable. The story is unbelievable, and I think what makes it special as well is that this is a 16 season series or 17, because we followed him every single year, and we know every single episode, and we know what has happened before, and we know that he's been up and down, and with the national side wasn't working, and boom, in the last series, in the last episode, he goes and wins it. Fantastic.
That's amazing. Yeah, me and my producer Kai were chatting before, and we were going, it feels like a movie. And then he was saying, actually, it feels like a trilogy. But you've now made it a Netflix series, which or whatever series, other platforms are available. But you're right. You're absolutely right. And I think, yeah, he's just outrageous. And I think the final 2 questions I wanted to ask you were, first of all, how will you feel when he kicks his final ball and isn't playing anymore? How will you feel?
Again, the ending of the book tells you a little bit of a clue. I'll say it. Orphans will be orphans, because after Messi, we'll be looking for Messi. But you have to. I mean, his fielder it will make such a hole in our mind, or in our. I'm lucky that I'm 55, and I won't be wanted for long in this world of journalism and writing. But as fans. It's just, we shouldn't be looking for another Messi, but I unconsciously will say, okay, we've been used to in 17 years for somebody to be ahead of the game most of the time. So it won't feel good enough if Mbappe is very good for 2 years and then a third year he isn't. It won't feel good enough if Haaland scores really amazing amount of goals for a couple of seasons, and then after 3 or 4 or whatever, goes to another club, it doesn't work. It won't feel good enough for him. We'll feel like, right, what is that guy that's just going to, again, end all the debates, and that we want to go and see and pay, a flight and hotel and a ticket to actually go and see live. Who would you do that for these days? Nobody.
Yeah, no, absolutely nobody. And I think that's it as well. I think we come back to, generally it's a dangerous thing to sort of complete things, because you think, a hunger will be lost. But I think that's sort of a measure of the player. and the way he's done it is that we were okay with him completing it. We were okay with the debates having a full stop at the end of them because of just the fact that he's an utter magician.
It's a homage to ourselves. We watched the whole series. I mean, the ending has to be good, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think that's why I wanted it as well, because I think it would have been so heartbreaking for what we want to believe in a sport that feels more and more corrupt every day, that a little guy who, you know, who had to have injections, who, you know, had hepatitis, like had all these things, who was too small, too slow, or whatever it might have been, right, can just be otherworldly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, final question for you.
Let's explain that so if people don't know.
Sorry,
he took injections because he could to grow naturally. So basically, you know, like the Duracell rabbits. If they have two batteries for them to work. That's a very old advertisement, but some of you will understand what I'm saying.
We'll still use batteries. Fine.
Yeah, if you take one of the batteries, it doesn't go.
Right.
And he didn't have that second battery. He didn't have that. So the injections is that second battery that we all have. So he was growing by getting hormone injections. He grew naturally. So, and yes, you said it absolutely right. For this guy that needed to, his growth had been stopped and needed science to help him. For this guy that is short, who is not the fastest, who obviously not the strongest, to actually get to the top and win everything. Wow, yeah, we do believe in romantic endings after that.
Absolutely. Final question. I put it on Twitter, and actually my Twitter's gone crazy because I've got already, and I think I posted it half an hour ago. Describe Messi in a word, and not GOAT. And there's all sorts. And actually, I thought it might be one or two words that seem to be specific to him. But there is such an array, you know, epic, magic, a whole host. But I wanted to ask you that question. If you had to describe him in one word, what is the word that comes to mind for you?
Never done that before. I'm going to say a word that's come out straight away to me, which of course makes more sense now, having gone through all the years where I worked with him commercially. I've written about him, I've spoken about him, and what he's done to me in that process. And I'll say the word respectful. For somebody of his stature, of with so many people that want bits of him, to actually be so respectful to what I was doing, whatever in his mind that is, it's something to be eternally grateful.